If you have issues with anxiety, panic attacks, or maybe just run a little anxious, what you eat for breakfast is incredibly important. It's your foundation for the entire day that's either setting you up for stable blood sugar and getting adequate nutrients that you need for your brain to function, or the complete opposite. Unstable blood sugar and a lack of adequate nutrients that is far more likely to lead to anxiety. So today, I'm going to share with you really the only type of breakfast that you should be eating if you suffer with anxiety, and 3 super easy examples for you to get started with. Hi, I'm Jess. I'm a clinical nutritionist, and I help people transform their mood with food and sometimes other forms of natural medicine. I think the issue that most people face with breakfast, and correct me in the comments below if this isn't the case for you, is that we often need it to be quick and easy in addition to being effective. I'm gonna walk you through 3 incredibly easy breakfast options that would be great for someone with anxiety that I eat all the time. And just so you understand what all of these breakfasts have in common that make them a far more superior choice than most daily common breakfasts that people eat, is that they are primarily protein and fat instead of just being a bunch of carbohydrates. And if you want to understand more on why eating just carbs for breakfast is the worst option for anxiety, then go watch the linked video here on the worst breakfast for anxiety. So let's dive into the first breakfast, which is one that I've been eating for several months now and should probably mix it up soon, but I'm really just loving this option, and that is chia seed pudding. Now, if you're thinking, chia seed pudding, I've tried it, I don't like it, maybe it's just not filling enough, well, you might not be making it right, or you might not be maximizing the chia seed potential. So let me show you how it's done. Okay, so I have my chia seeds, I have my mason jar, and I have my milk. Now, you can add all the things that we're gonna add to it tomorrow before as well, but I like to do that just right before I eat it. I'm pretty lazy, so literally the night before I go to bed, this is what I do. You're basically just gonna add a few tablespoons of chia seeds to the jar and add enough milk so that the chia seeds have room to gelatinize and expand. The most important part here is that you mix it up pretty well and give it a shake before you put it in the fridge. When you take it out of the fridge, it should look something like this. Bonus tip with chia seed pudding is if you remember and you're around like 5 to 10 minutes after you put it in the fridge, it can be really helpful if you just give it another quick mix. It will keep the chia seeds from clumping together. So like I mentioned before, having this alone may not be enough food for you. This is only like 200 calories. So we need to add some stuff to it. I like to add a little bit more milk to it so it helps me mix up the things that I'm adding a little bit easier, which for me is generally a protein powder. I love chocolate because then it makes it this yummy chocolate chia seed pudding. And then I also add some nut butter to it as well. You can of course top it with some fruit or some chopped nuts, coconut, etc. So you're getting some carbs, or you can eat it alongside of some other fruit like me. I actually haven't ate breakfast yet because I've been filming this video, so I'm gonna eat this right now and then we'll get back to things. And that's chia seed pudding. If you want the exact recipe for my chia seed pudding, in addition to the other recipes we're gonna go over today, and maybe a few bonus recipes for someone with anxiety, then make sure you check out the free downloadable guide I created on some of the best breakfasts for anxiety. You'll find it in the description below. Now our next recipe, you could make it in advance and keep it in the refrigerator, but it just takes a few minutes to make in the blender. No, it's not a smoothie, but it's just as easy, so we're gonna do it on the fly, and that's avocado mousse. So for avocado mousse, you basically need avocado. You can use a whole or a half. It just depends upon the size and how much you want to make. So it's basically just blending up avocado, a little bit of milk of your choice, and then if you want a sweet flavor, you could add a few pieces of banana to it. Or once again, you could add a chocolate or vanilla protein powder. So similarly to the chia seed pudding, I often make chocolate avocado mousse, and that's really popular. But if you don't want chocolate and maybe you even want to keep the beautiful avocado color, then you can always add something like collagen to it, because collagen's not going to add any additional taste and it's basically just going to dissolve. But once again, it will still have protein. So there may be a little bit of fruit involved if you choose to have the banana or top it with some, but it's mainly just fat that you're eating with whatever added protein of choice. Feel free to top it with the same ingredients you did for the pudding. So both chia seed pudding and avocado mousse are great options for someone who struggles with anxiety because they have a foundation of fat, super healthy fats that are great for your brain. And then we're adding protein to this meal to round it out a little bit more, which is gonna help keep you satiated and will additionally help with that blood sugar stability for the rest of the day. Our next breakfast food is not a recipe, but something that you can just buy and easily assemble. A lot of people want savory breakfast options other than eggs. So while you could totally do something like an eggless breakfast hash, you'll find one of those in the downloadable guide. You may want something even easier on a weekday. And that's where these wonderful sausages come in. So there are a lot of brands, these just happen to be my favorite. I know a lot of people don't want to eat processed meats. They think that they're ick, and a lot of brands are, but there are some brands without additives, nitrates, preservatives, etc. This one by Adele's happens to be one of my favorites. It's just really easy to find in a lot of stores. And these are basically already kind of cooked, and what you need to do is just prepare them to your liking. What I normally do is I just cook these all at once in my air fryer for like 7 to 8 minutes because I like that kind of like crispy texture on the outside. And then I just keep them in Tupperware throughout the week, and I will just grab one and either eat it cold or maybe put it in the microwave for a few seconds. Now, if you're thinking, Jess, a sausage alone isn't breakfast. Well, there's honestly a lot of days where I do just grab a sausage or a meat stick before I hop on Zoom because it's better than nothing. But in an ideal world, of course, the sausage is meant to be paired with something else. Maybe another easy grab like a yogurt topped with berries. Maybe you do have time to scramble a few eggs, or maybe you have this with one of our other first two breakfast options that we mentioned. I realize that each of these breakfast options alone are not a ton of calories, so if you're someone who needs a much more substantial breakfast, then really you're gonna wanna be combining some of these options. But a lot of people that I work with, including myself, don't have a huge appetite in the morning, so any one of these options alone is a really good option for them, and much better than, once again, not eating anything at all, which I know a lot of people who do that too. There are, of course, other great breakfast options if you struggle with anxiety, so make sure you check out that downloadable guide that's also gonna have the breakfast hash and my mood-boosting smoothie recipe. And if you want even more guidance on food and anxiety, then make sure you check out this anxiety playlist here.